Okay, hi, welcome back. Welcome to Dekaland. I'm your host, Deka. This is my podcast where we talk about life, love, laughter, relationships. Laughter, we talk about laughter. I hope that I can make you laugh at some point, but I want to talk about life, love, relationships, and just being a human being. Okay, so I did a very human thing at the end of the first episode that was about fear of failure. I felt like I had failed because I looked down and realized my audio was not recording. So I will be looking down to make sure my audio is recording throughout, and hopefully it all goes as planned. Um, I got to the end of that episode and I truly thought that I failed because if I don't have good quality audio, who's going to want to listen to my podcast? But, luckily I was able to use the audio that the camera picked up, and I try to clean it up and make it as good as possible. But I think what is most important is that I just keep going. So, welcome. Let's try this again. I'm glad you're here. I'm wondering how you're doing, what's going on in the world at the point when this episode comes out. We are in May. We love May. I am a Taurus and not a tourist, a Taurus. 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 Taurus sun, Pisces moon, Scorpio rising. And my birthday was May 3rd. I put this podcast out as a gift to myself. So I'm going to just pat myself on the back because it was scary, okay? It's been scary. I had a fear of failure and we're pushing through it and we're just seeing what happens. We're going to put, I do feel like a we thing here, okay? Like this is not just about me, and because you're listening and I care about you and I'm happy to be alive and I'm happy that you're alive and I'm happy that you're here listening to me talk. Okay, so today we're going to talk about overcoming comparison because we all do it. You know, we are a part of a generation that lives with one of these devices in our hand. We wake up and we look at it before we go to sleep. We're looking at it. You know, it's a very big part of our lives, and I think it has brought a lot of amazing good to our lives, and a lot of also very shocking truths have been revealed. Okay, and I don't know that when I was 10 years old and I got a cell phone that I knew that that's what was coming, just like in 2019 when I was having the most fun I've ever had in my life, falling in love and going to raves every weekend. I didn't know what was coming in 2020. And when I first got a cell phone at a very young age, I didn't know what was coming. And now kids just grow up and as soon as they grow up with cell phones, yes, but they're also like getting the cell phone. I thought 10 was an early age. They get cell phones now at like 2. So, wow. And everything that has happened because of it, the accountability, like humans have been held accountable because of cell phones, you know, police, body cams, bystander videos. I don't really want to get into it because it breaks my heart, but these devices have changed our entire being, like they have changed what it means to be a human being, and a lot of good, a lot of shocking truths, and some bad as well. I mean, my screen time, I could just check it right now. Like screen time. Okay, maybe I can't because I turned it off. Oh wait, no, there it is. Okay, here it gives me just the summary of my screen time. Um, I think this is just today. 7.5 hours. Okay. It claims that 3 hours of that is social, an hour and a half is entertainment, and an hour is productivity. My top apps being used are Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, YouTube, Zoom, and Messages. Ooh, yikes. Yikes. First pickup. Oh, it says my first pickup was at midnight last night. So I was still up on my phone at midnight last night. And yeah, that's a lot of screen time. 28 minutes on Yelp. I'm trying to, you got to find the good restaurants. You got to find that good outdoor dining. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yesterday, my screen time was 8 hours and 5 minutes. That is insane. And it says an hour on Spotify, which is like, I'm not looking at Spotify for an hour, but I might be listening to music. So, take the 8 hours with a grain of salt. Um, 2 hours on Instagram. What? 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 Ew. Like that. These devices, it not only enable us to spend 2 hours on Instagram, but it also enables us now with screen time to check ourselves and realize, girl, you're spending 2 hours a day on Instagram. That's 14 hours a week. That's do some math and a lot of hours a month and a year in a lifetime scrolling on Instagram, where I am inevitably comparing myself to others. So, in talking about overcoming comparison, I want to talk about, or the question that I will ask, because every episode I will ask a question. What if? What if and why? Those are my go-tos, okay? I love a good rabbit hole as to why. Why is this happening? Why did that happen? Why am I the way I am? And I think everybody should be asking themselves why they are the way they are. It's very revealing. Once you start asking that question, the answers that you find. So, on this episode, I want to ask, what if you stopped comparing your life to others? What if you stopped the distractions and focused on your life and your life only? What if you deleted your social media? Maybe not forever, but what if you deleted it for a day? I delete my Instagram all the time because I wake up and realize that I have spent 3 hours on Instagram, if not more, or something. And I know that it's not productive. I know that I'm just dooms scrolling and comparing myself to others. Even if I say I'm not going to compare myself to others, what else is there to do on Instagram? Even if you don't say things like, oh, look at this picture, I want that, or what if I had that, or this or that, because I don't get on there and I don't say things like that to myself. But just by seeing the images of, you know, all these other people and celebrities and influencers, like, you start to wonder, or maybe you just start to want things that you don't have, and you just compare your life to others without even thinking about it. It's like mindless comparing. And I feel like that is very detrimental. So I delete my Instagram often. Just the most recent time that I did it was over the weekend. I deleted it for the weekend and still recording audio. Yes, sir. Okay. I deleted my Instagram for the weekend and it felt great. As soon as I deleted it, it felt great. And what's crazy is like you feel the addiction where like you're like, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to pick it up. Oh, but it's not there. It's good. And then it gets easier. Okay. So I highly encourage you to delete your apps sometimes. Give yourself a break. Give your brain a break. Give your eyeballs a break. Delete Instagram, delete Twitter. Facebook should have been deleted. Okay. But, even just delete them all and they'll be there when you are ready to come back. And I just think that people don't always realize how toxic they can be on their brain. And so, yeah. Comparison, the cliche quote about comparison. And let me tell you, I love a good quote because when I delete Instagram, I'll admit I will maybe spend more time on Pinterest, but at least on Pinterest, I feel like I'm learning more things. I can look up positive quotes and positive affirmations and kind of focus my attention on something that I feel like is a little bit better for my psyche. So on Pinterest, there are some quotes about comparison. Obviously, we all know the one, comparison is the thief of joy, and that's true. And I will get to more quotes, but first, I want to ask, what's that? And no, I'm not talking about Blinky, okay? But what's that? I picked up this thesaurus to make the TikTok, and then out fell this pink slip. On the pink slip is my name and the date 6/2/2011, time 8:07, and it says office checked, and then there's like a signature. Um, it's an office pass that I got on June 2nd, 2011, which, wow. Okay, let me unpack this a little bit. Pink slips are like, I mean, I imagine they still do this in school. Now school has changed in a lot of ways. It's all being online and kids trying to go back to school finally after like a year and a half of not having a normal, school experience, which is, I can only imagine, so strange. Oh my goodness. Shout out to all the kids who have been the K through 12. If you are in K through 12 in 2020, 2021, I just want to say you are doing great, sweetie. Even if you failed all your classes, even if you tried a little, you're doing great, sweetie, because I cannot imagine what it must be like to be K through 12 in 2020 and 2021. It's got to be so, I don't know. I'm wondering, how is it? Like, please, you tell me, like, comment and tell me how your experience tangent. I am here to look up the word compare. The word compare in this thesaurus, so obviously a thesaurus is not going, what's that? What's a thesaurus? A thesaurus is going to tell you, similar words, synonyms, as they're called. Okay, I paid attention. And next to compare, it says contrast. Mean to set side by side in order to show likenesses and differences. Compare implies an aim of showing relative values or excellences by bringing out characteristic qualities, whether similar or divergent. Wanted to compare the convention facilities of the two cities. And then they go on to define contrast, which implies an aim of emphasizing differences, contrasted the computerized system with the old filing cards, and collate implies minute and critical comparison in order to note points of agreement or divergence. Data from police districts across the country will be collated. Anyway, compare, contrast. We get on Instagram and we do that. We compare and we contrast to others, and it's not healthy. I mean, I grew up in a generation where, like, okay, I'm like a young millennial. Let's talk about it. I feel like I'm going to get roasted as soon as I start talking about millennials. Okay, like, I imagine YouTube, like, okay, on the first episode, I was like, oh, comment this and comment that. Like, as if I'm even going to get any comments. Like, I really hope I get some comments. Anyway, but on TikTok, talking about millennials is asking for it. So, and even saying asking for it is such a millennial thing. Anyway, I'm young millennial, 94, kind of on the cusp, Gen Z. My boyfriend is Gen Z, so at times I feel like a little Zoomer, skirt. That was so lame and millennial of me to do. Anyway, I grew up with getting a cell phone at 10, getting MySpace in middle school. Oh my gosh, and I remember so vividly seeing the girls in my school, in middle school, on MySpace, and like being like, wow, they're so cool. I want to be like them, comparing myself to them, instead of being like, I am my own person too, and I can just express myself in the ways that I want to, And that's what we should do. We should just be yourself. Focus on yourself. Focus on finding out what you like and what things bring you joy and happiness and love and good feelings, follow the good feelings. I remember being on MySpace and comparing myself to others. And then going into high school, getting Facebook and doing more of that. And then going into college and getting Instagram. And then it was like all of a sudden Instagram, at first it was like food pictures. And then it turned into pictures of people and places and celebrities and then influencers. What? Like, it all happened so fast, and now we see it as like our norm. But I remember life before, obviously before Instagram, there, like I said, there was Facebook and there was MySpace. So it's not like there was like nothing. But I want to encourage you to not compare yourself, or at least try not to compare yourself. And I think trying not to compare yourself is better than just blindly going online and doom scrolling and without even realizing you're comparing and contrasting your life to others. So, my tips personally, what has worked for me, again, I'm no expert, I'm just a normal person. Okay, whoa. Normal person? What is that? What is that? Normal person doesn't exist. Normal is not. Anyway, I'm just a person, just like you, who gets on Instagram, and whether I realize it or not, I'm comparing and contrasting my life to others. So maybe instead of doing that, delete the apps, at least try for a day and see how it feels. Try for 2 days, then try for the weekend, try for a week, try for a month. I would love to. Oh my gosh, I would love to try to delete my apps for that long. Maybe I will, and just get back to you and let you know how it goes. Tune into the 3rd episode to see if I actually commit to deleting my apps for weeks at a time. And then tune into the 4th, 5th, and 6th episode to see how it broke me as a person. Okay, just kidding. Okay, so like I said, when I delete some apps, maybe I keep some others. Because, I mean, what do you want me to do? Just throw the whole phone away? That's not going to happen. So I will get on Pinterest instead and try to find things that I feel like bring me value and uplift me rather than bring me down. Because I think also like the weird 2020 collective experience was like Instagram becoming like the most toxic. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't want to say too much and sound too, I don't know, American. America's a great place. Don't come for me. But we all had this like experience of like realizing Instagram wasn't doing it for us anymore. I feel like last year, where people were, we had to stay inside, we had to stay indoors, we had to lock down, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, I definitely don't want to see influencers traveling. First of all, like it became illegal, and then you don't want to see just celebrities posting their most luxurious items because they're trapped in their closet, like boo-hoo, like it was weird. And then came the protests, and then people realized, wow, like we could use this for something much, much deeper and much more productively. We could actually fight for our rights and fight for our lives and talk to each other about that really important stuff on social media. And that is what I love about social media the most. And that's why I am even doing this podcast, because I see the opportunity to have an amazing community experience, a community-based experience, even though it's online. It can translate into real life. And we've seen that over and over again. And I just feel like it looks so special. And I had to try. I want to build a little community, a little online community. Some of my best friends I've met off the internet, and we actually hit it off incredibly in person. Once upon a time I went on Tinder dates, and that was not the case. So, but it didn't stop me from trying. Ooh. Okay, so let's go over some quotes real quick from Pinterest so I can, show you the other side, the other apps that are a little bit more positive, like Pinterest. Okay, her success is not my failure. Because we get online and we see people and we look and we like, oh, they look successful. I must really suck because I don't have that. No, her success is not my failure. It has nothing to do with you. There's room for everybody. Everybody can have success. And also you have to define success for you. We can't be just like mindlessly scrolling and deciding that, a celebrity's life is the definition of success, when really what you're seeing is highly curated, maybe by an assistant. Okay. It's not even like real at all. Okay. Let's see. Admire someone else's beauty without questioning your own. That's a good one. You are way cooler than your feed. that is like, I could see where that's like kind of hard to wrap your mind around because you see only the coolest things online, but like your real life is your real life and it's the only one you have. So of course it's cooler than your feed. Okay, here's a good one. Confidence isn't walking into a room thinking you are better than everyone. It's walking in not having to compare yourself to anyone at all. Yes. If you can walk into a room and know that you are you, nobody else is you, you love yourself, and nobody else is you. Like, why bother comparing yourself to anyone? And definitely not being better than anyone. You're just not them. That's it. It's like, and they're not you, and that's fine. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. But if I compared my beginning when I literally first got here to like somebody who had been here for 5 years, oh my gosh, if I compared my beginning to my now, I went from like being on a couch and riding a bicycle to my job to having a, one bedroom apartment with my wonderful boyfriend and being at a job for 3 years. Like, you can't compare the two, It's just like you have to go through one maybe to get to the other. That was my case. Comparison is a thief of joy is on here a lot. We know that one. And that's all it is. It's like if you're comparing yourself to others, you're just wasting your time and you're taking away from what is in front of you in your present moment. And the present is a present. And if we're comparing ourselves, we're wasting that moment. Personality begins where comparison leaves off. Be unique, be memorable, be confident, and be proud. That is what I will leave you with today. You know, um, like I said before, this past year and a half has been unprecedented, and it has been really, really dark in a lot of ways. And I'm just happy to be alive. And if you're listening to this, I'm happy that you are alive. And thank you for listening. I think that we all have our own unique qualities that make us ourselves. You are you, and nobody is you, and that's your power. And as soon as you realize that and just hone in on what makes you happy, what makes you feel good. For now, let's not compare ourselves to each other. Let's just compliment one another. Tell somebody that you love them for being them, because nobody else can be them. Only they can, and only you can be you, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I think I'm rambling now, so I will shut up. What if you stopped comparing yourselves to others? What's that? A thesaurus. It's a book with words in it and definitions of synonyms, and you should own one, okay? And maybe even pick it up sometime. The pink slip falling out of this one kind of makes me feel like I hadn't opened it in a long time. That was literally 10 years ago. But yeah, I'm going to stop saying, I'm going to get off of here. Thank you for listening, viewing. Please like, comment, subscribe, turn a notification bell on so that you know every time I get a post or every time I post a podcast episode. I will be doing these weekly. I think I might have left that out of the other one. Oops. Yeah, thank you for listening. And remember that you are you and nobody else is you. Okay, bye.